Well, hello, everybody. Now, you guys are going to have to make a little pact with me, okay? I'm from Houston, and I feel outnumbered. It's quite a few of you from Lubbock, am I correct? Okay, so here's the pact. If I talk to you, will you talk back to me? Okay, that wasn't very encouraging. If I talk back to you, will you talk back to me? Yes. All right, hello, Lubbock. All right, we're doing good so far. So I was invited down here to speak, and when I asked what the topic was, someone told me momentum and racing forward. And I'm a visual person, extremely visual learning. So the first thing that popped in my mind due to my athletic background was, in any race, it takes legs to run. You're not going anywhere if you don't have legs. And I'll get more into that as I go. So, a long time ago in this faraway place called high school, anybody remember that? Okay, I was an all-star scholar athlete. And the sports that I excelled in were basketball, volleyball, and track. Now, track was the foundation that sprung my success in the other activities, because track was strenuous training and physical building and strengthening of the legs. So I had a secret weapon, these gorgeous, long legs. They got me through. I noticed something about all the gold medalists in track. Everyone that I was around had three common traits. First, they had talent. They had that edge. They had that thing that kind of separated them from your average Joe and made them major contenders at all the track meets. The second thing they had was focus. And I'm not talking about on what went wrong, what I could do better, but I'm talking about what they did right. And they can take what they did right and freeze it and repeat that process over and over again. And they were not afraid to own their greatness. The third thing they had was the ability to simply relax. They would go to the meet and they weren't jumping around and jittery. They could just sit there and get in a zone, and you know it was on. I want to say to you that life itself, it's a race. We are in a major race, and the competitors that are on the side of each of us that are vying to beat us is circumstances and time. Now, when I began my race, personally, I began alone. I didn't have the best of childhoods. I could tell you a lot of stories that would have you just sobbing, but I'm not here to do that today. I was lagging behind, and I wasn't going very fast, but I was still going because I had that innate athletic gift to focus. And what I focused on was the two things that I had going for me. I had great intellectual ability, and I had great athletic skill. So that kept me chugging along. I wasn't necessarily winning at this race called life, but I was gaining momentum, and I was moving, and the next thing you know, I was at the University of Missouri at Rolla, electrical engineering major with a basketball scholarship. So I felt like I was picking up speed, and you know how, I don't know how many of you have ever ran and looked back to see where the competitor was, just a brief moment. I felt like some things were getting behind me, and I was moving. And while I was there at that campus, I had a guy approach me. Actually, he was a very cute guy, by the way. And he asked me if I would be the mother of his children. I'm like, whoa, can we get a bow? And I looked at this man, and he was kind of hot, and I did know him. We had been friends for a couple of years, and he had great skills and great ability, and I obliged him, and I decided to marry him. And after our marriage, about 8 years in, we start having babies. In the words of Syndrome, we got busy. So I had 4 single birth boys, and I always wanted a girl, because I wanted to prove that a relationship between a mother and her daughter could be successful. And I kept going until I had the twin boys, and then I gave up. So we had 6 sons, and I had this lovely husband, and at this time he had graduated, and we had moved to Houston, and he was a senior electrical engineer at a major Highland-based engineering firm, and life was good. And I was like, wow. I took one of those look back. I said, I'm winning now. I'm winning at this race called life. Everything was perfect. Life was good. And then one of those contenders, that circumstance jumped right in front of me. It just pulled up and took the lead. And it manifested itself in the form of a 4-alarm house fire. In the middle of the night, all of a sudden, we heard explosions, TVs popping, smoke. You can't see anything. I don't know what they're doing in Hollywood with these films about fire, but it's ridiculous. The pain was I can't even relate to you the pain that I was feeling. The carbon monoxide obviously had put us all out. So I was the first to awake. I hit my husband in the head and yelled, the house is on fire. He, pure adrenaline, just went to the window and threw an air conditioning unit out. And when he did that, I was the next thing to go out the window. Now, I, at that time, was a homeschool mother, and I had took all my kids and some of the other kids I was homeschooling, and we made this visit to the fire museum, and we mapped out our fire safety plan, and we had the point inside the house to meet and the point outside the house to meet, and we knew exactly what to do in the time, but you never expect to have to act on that type of plan. So, after my husband had thrown me out, he went to the point where the boys knew to take their autistic brother, because I do have an autistic son. The 3 older boys got their autistic son, went to the point, and he was able to save their lives, even though all of them were burned. Meanwhile, I had a set of 22-month twin sons who could not follow a fire safety plan. And above all the things I've accomplished and all the things I've done, I'm first a mother. I knew the rule: once you're out, you stay out. Rules go out the window when it comes to your children. I jumped back in. I tried to get to the nursery, which was attached to our master bedroom, but unfortunately, a burning bookshelf fell on me and trapped me there in my bedroom. Meanwhile, my husband I could hear his voice fading in, and I'm laying there thinking, this is it. I've lost this race. It's come to an end. It's pretty over. I could literally feel the skin just falling off of me. That's how bad this situation was. It was horrific. Now I'm talking about this race we're in called life. I hear him fading in, and he manages to find me somehow and throw me out again. And the neighbors drag me to the edge of the street, and I'm burned so badly they're holding me up with my head to their head because they can't touch me or can't use my hands. This fire was so intense and so bad that he couldn't jump in our room to go get the twins. He had to go around the block, jump over the neighbor's backyard fence and to the fence just to get to the room next door. When he gets in that room, he jumps in and he pulls out one of our twins, Benjamin. Now, he's a baby, and the first thing he does is hollers when he feels pain, which caused him to have facial burns, upper extremities, burned on the inside. I mean, this thing is getting rough. It's getting really, really tough. And before my husband is able to rescue the last son, the whole house caves in. So we lose my son Amos right there at sight. So here I am, looking at life, wondering why, how, and what now. I awake a couple of months later from coma, intubated, in devastating pain, not knowing who made it, what's going to happen next, or what. I had no desire to run in life anymore. I had personally became an emotional amputee. I didn't have any sense of what to do next, why would I do it? But I did have that innate gift to focus. So 2 choices were before me: to stop, give up, succumb to what had happened, and let everything deteriorate around me. In other words, lose momentum, or to pick it up and keep moving. Hope became the legs I needed to run again. I began to focus on those 5 children that were living and that gorgeous husband. I actually sat in the hospital and said, I don't want anyone to marry him. I'm gonna live. In any race we're racing, it takes legs to run. And hope is a motivator to think and do the impossible. It is your greatest internal life coach. It's the heartbeat of survival. Don't ever underestimate the power that hope plays in your life. And you gotta utilize everything, and that's why I so love the theme, racing forward together. Because at this time, I had doctors and surgeons, and it took years for me to get back to health and to get back on my feet. So I had to run slowly for a time. But I had family and church family and friends, and together, the race became a little easier. Sometimes, if you work together, and we as women, we have a problem sometimes. We want to be the self-made people that do it all ourselves. I would advise, take the cape off. You don't need it. Work together and keep moving forward. I want to encourage you. You possess the same three traits I see in athletes. It's really innately in all of us. First, you have talent. You have been given a set of gifts, a set of talents that is at your possession, your disposal to do whatever you choose to do with it. And trapped inside of you is a vision that can change the world. I want to challenge you to unleash it. Secondly, you got focus. Now, I had lost everything I possessed, everything. More painful, I had lost a son. I had lost body image. All kind of things had happened. But I was still able to focus, and you are too, on something good. And what I learned through that whole predicament is this: life is perfect simply because I have it. Third, you can relax. It's this thing called life, and it's just gonna happen. And life sometimes can deliver a hand that we can't control. However, you can control your response to that hand that's dealt with you. I want to challenge you to play it well. Ladies of Lubbock, it takes legs to run. Get on those legs of hope, get moving, and keep hope alive for me. Thank you very much.